think we connect on the visual arts thing, on the communication and making things look good.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, for sure. I did you ever have to take any art history classes? Because like I really enjoyed those.
like
Oh, and
that's art history.
like I
Wait, no,
almost
I did
wanted
not
to
stay
minor
in
in art
fine
history.
arts. Yeah, I didn't stay in fine arts long enough to get to the art history. But
Oh,
when
okay.
I was that one semester at the UF, I think for a semester at UF, I was an architecture major
Mm-hmm.
because my college degree was premature. Or my college experience was premature. If I look
Mm-hmm.
at it in hindsight, I should have either gone to the military like I expected, or done a AA at a community college
Mm-hmm.
while figuring out life. Because I graduated high school in Gainesville, went to UF on a full scholarship, and I was
Ooh.
taking classes because they fit my schedule. I had no clue what I wanted to be. So you'll see a semester of building construction, semester of architecture, semester of like agricultural engineering feeder
Mm-hmm.
classes. I
Mm-hmm.
was just shopping,
Yeah.
and that eventually runs out. But
Mm-hmm.
in my architecture chapter, there was a art history, or specifically buildings and columns and different types of construction, and that was in an auditorium at 7:30 p.m. That didn't work. That was like, nah, okay, you gotta try, and then you know
Mm-hmm.
that it's not for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I hear you. But yeah, I think we should start the interview, start the podcast. Hello everyone. Welcome to Moment of Clarity. It's a podcast where I interview my really awesome friends. In this episode, we are interviewing Lionel. Lionel is a manager, like a software engineer manager, correct?
Correct.
You were you born in Haiti or were you born in Gainesville?
No, I was born in New York.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Yeah, born in New York, but moved around a lot.
Yeah, because I know you lived in Haiti. You also lived in Africa, right?
Correct. Right.
Yeah.
My parents' careers took
Oh.
us to Niger, I guess Niger in English, Niger, yeah,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
Chad. My parents were UN, United Nations, or UN consultant. I think my father did some work with companies looking for oil, and I think that's what took us to the sub-Saharan Africa the first time.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we traveled. Um, I was pretty much the new kid
Okay.
over and over and over again.
Okay. What was that like?
It was normal. I had nothing to compare it to.
Oh.
So
Oh. Yeah.
show up, okay, new set of friends. Always wondering if you're gonna get back to the old ones, but then life keeps going forward and not back. So
Mm.
I have few lifelong friends. A couple
Mm.
people that I am connected with from childhood were very, very tight, but have fallen off my radar. I think eventually it turns into getting comfortable anywhere you show up. It's like humans. Okay, we're gonna
Yeah.
figure this out. Uh, but yeah, growing up like that has some benefits, some disadvantages as well. I speak three languages, but each one of them I have an accent when I speak. So there's nothing I can speak where somebody doesn't go, "Hey, you have a where are you from?" Like I come from
Oh, okay. What are the three languages you speak?
English, French, and Creole.
Okay.
And I learned English and French. No, I'm sorry. I learned French and Creole first, and
Mm-hmm.
then English, probably from watching TV, and then formalized when I went to school for the first time in English. It was in ninth grade.
Mm. Okay. So, like, I guess soon after New York, you moved
Yeah,
to.
soon after New York. So I was born in New York. My
Mm.
parents were young. They were working. Uh, my dad, I think, was a mechanic, or he was driving taxis, struggling. My mother had. They started in factory work. My mother was making her way up toward more clerical type stuff. They shipped me back to be with family in Haiti. My sister was already there.
Gotcha.
So for a while, they were in New York, continuing to build a life. Their children were in Haiti with family,
Mm-hmm.
being taken care of in provinces. And I'm not sure of the details, but I think the opportunity for Niger came up, and
Gotcha.
then we moved. I was about 1 or 2 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe three. We moved to Niger together as a family.
Gotcha.
We lived
Okay.
in Haiti for a while together, though. So they came back to Haiti. We were there together, and then first trip overseas was there.
Okay. Okay. And how long did you live in Niger?
I would say 3 years.
Oh,
I
okay.
think we came back to Haiti around 1981 ish. Yeah. So spent about 3 years in Niger, came back to Haiti, and we stayed there until about 1986, 1987, when we went to Chad.
Gotcha.
Yeah. My mom was working with UNICEF. So
Hmm.
then she went from a local employee to an international position, sent her to Chad. And we stayed in Chad together 4 years. And then civil war broke out. But not so much civil war. Let's say the opposing military group came in and took over. So tanks rolling into town, bombs dropping, everything. We got evacuated by the French military,
Oh my god. Okay.
took us to Paris, one suitcase. And I remember basically the transition was less than a week. We're in Paris, we ended up in Florida. They parked me with family there,
Hmm.
my uncle and aunt, and Fort Lauderdale. I went to Piper High School.
Okay.
But I remember regretting, like, I did my homework. The last day that I went to French school, I had homework ready for the next day. And all this stuff blew up. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I did the homework. That stayed with me a long time. So then came to the States and started high school late, started freshman year in December
Okay.
at my first American school.
Okay. So do you remember seeing the tanks rolling in and everything?
I remember hearing a lot of gunfire.
Okay.
And I remember also we had the UN staff had walkie talkies
Hmm.
to communicate with each other because it was not uncommon for somebody to get stuck in the mud somewhere and need a tow. So some staff would come over and help you get unstuck. So all the UN were on these walkie talkies that the staff had to have on them mandatory. So we spent the night hearing explosions in the streets, gunfire, and people calling for help
Oh god. Okay.
on the radio. So yeah, my mom and I were up all night listening for directions. My dad slept through it. He has that ability. And yeah, the next day or late in the night or very early in the morning, they said, okay, pack a suitcase. The rendezvous point is at there was this community where a lot of UN residents were, and we were to
Hmm.
meet there, one suitcase per individual, huddle up in French military trucks, take us to the airport, board planes, and that was the end of that.
Wow. Okay. it's it's like I'm trying to find like the right word because it's like I feel like incredible makes it sound like it wasn't like traumatic.
Oh, it was absolutely traumatic.
Right, yeah, it's like cuz
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like cuz
The
I would have never guessed that you've experienced something like that.
Yeah, that was the first time that I saw the thin layer of society's politeness and
Mm,
well behavior collapse.
okay.
Um, when we left when we left Haiti to go to Chad, about what this was before, yeah, before Chad, so 4 years before,
Mhm.
when we left Haiti to go to Chad, the 30 plus year Duvalier regime had just fallen. So Baby Doc, son dictator who inherited lifelong power from his father,
Mhm.
was ousted. And the population proceeded to ransack the residences, the businesses, and to basically it was mob justice in the street, and
Mhm.
people were getting killed and burned, and roads were blocked. I remember on the day that we were trying to get to the airport to leave Fort Chad, there was a question of whether we could make it to the airport because of a road blockage. So I remember that as well. So yeah, the civil. I think it makes me real sensitive to just like how fragile society really is and how
Yeah.
it's effort to make sure everybody's included and make sure it's maintained and oiled. It's not an accidental.
No, it's not.
Yeah. So polite society and doing conscientious behavior is like to me it's real important.
Okay. You said that that was the first time you saw like how I guess how thin or how fragile like society
The
politeness is?
the first time would have been in Haiti, right before we left.
Okay.
Second time would be Chad when we saw that basically civil war broke out.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh wow. And this was like all before you turned 14?
Yep.
Okay. Oh my god.
You're connecting the dots. Like that's why he's so okay.
No, I would not have.
Sense.
No, I would not. It's still not making sense. Holy shit. Okay. um so I know that my podcast is usually about, asking people who grew up nerdy or were kind of nerds or like awkward or anything. Would you have considered yourself like nerdy or geeky growing up at all?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I had a very very vivid imagination. I did a lot of living in my own fantasy world. I went to
Mm.
I went to Catholic school as far as I can remember, basically. Besides kindergarten when there was colorful stuff. But in Haiti, from the time I went to school, there were grades until we left. It was Catholic school, all boys, gray and white uniforms. And I remember always existing in my mind, like having a story.
Okay.
Um, TV back then was a mix of Canadian channels and American channels. As far as what we got in Haiti, there were some local channels as well. So cartoons, we had 7 channels. So the cartoons I'd watch would be things like GI Joe, Transformers. Sometimes, if I could, because there'd be the All My Children at the same time on another channel, and it's like, this was a house with several televisions, definitely.
Yeah.
But when I was in Chad, I remember, yeah, connecting with the geekier friends or nerdier friends and
Okay.
sitting in class and drawing video games and basically
Mm.
going, all right, so the screen is going to look like this. You're going to see this here because people had like the Commodore 64. I didn't own any video games until the Nintendo Entertainment System. That
Okay.
was my first one, the original NES. But we would sit there and draw the controllers and design in our minds what playing this thing would be,
Oh
and
wow.
go deep into just following our streams of imagination. And
Yeah.
I think had I grown up in the US, I would
Mhm.
have probably gravitated to more groups that thought like that and been exposed to more of the media and the content and the stuff that was readily consumed.
Mhm.
But because I was overseas, okay, in Haiti, we had 7 TV channels.
Mhm.
When I went to Chad, there was none, or nothing
Really?
that I could understand, at least, right? So my entertainment was exchanging VCR tapes with friends.
Mhm.
So somebody would go to the States on vacation, come back, and they'd have movies. Like, I have Batman.
Oh.
Oh, I have this other
Okay.
movie. I have this. So we'd borrow and swap. And some people had libraries to the point where they
Mhm.
had checkout pages for you to come borrow films from them.
Yeah.
So that's also, Ghostbusters, Batman, the first Batman with Michael Keaton. It was kind of on a trickle. So my media consumption was restricted by being so far away, but I was still
Mhm.
very thirsty for that stuff.
Mhm.
I used to read the magazines about horror movies, the stuff
Okay.
about special effects. So I think the environment probably boosted my curiosity for it because it wasn't so readily available.
Gotcha, yeah.
But always technical, always creative. Wanted to shock people. Like I remember scary things. Coming to the States on vacation and buying slime, buying things that look gross and masks, and bloody
Mm.
looking. Yeah,
Huh. Was it because it kind of just like it was just very unorthodox and just like very different, and that's kind of like what you gravitated towards because it was more so outside the box?
I think it was maybe the shock value. Like I used to watch
Gotcha. Okay.
the Freddy Krueger movie, right? The Nightmare
Okay.
on Elm Street, the horror movies, the Blob and stuff.
Yeah.
And they were like, okay, so they fabricate these things and then they make people fearful just by
Mhm.
manufacturing plastic and styrofoam and this. So the art of making something that
Mhm.
causes a reaction in a human being,
Mhm.
to me it was really interesting. For some
Yeah.
reason, it started off with okay, the scary movies because the makeup was like, how did they scare me? How did they get me to feel uneasy? And I would
Mhm.
do the same take pictures. Yeah, I played with that a bit, and I got pretty heavy into video games. I had Nintendo Entertainment Systems, and
Yeah.
a lot of my friends didn't, so we used to have play parties and
Okay.
Super Mario Brothers, wrestling game, tennis game. But yeah, so I would say definitely I would put myself in the group of nerds, but
Mhm.
because of how I grew up, maybe even the nerds wouldn't have identified me just because I didn't know the vocabulary. I wasn't connected to the things that would have been available.
I think definitely back then you would have been considered a nerd, like you would have been accepted for sure. Just because,
Probably.
like,
I mean,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
'cause especially back then, because I felt like nerds were, especially like in the 80s and 90s, nerds were like so few and far between. At least that's how it felt.
Hmm.
And I guess I was a late 90s nerd. um, but it just felt that way, and so it's like, oh, this person is interested, or at least is showing interest in something that I'm interested in.
Hmm.
um like we should like try and talk about it, or I could show them movies and videos and things like that, and because they're obviously interested in it.
Yeah.
um
Interestingly, when I came to the States, it was kind of like, okay, so the unpopular kids were
mhm.
the ones I felt comfortable with. So which would be maybe the nerds,
Yeah,
because we didn't
yeah.
necessarily eat in the lunchroom. We'd get food and eat in the hallway, like be away and have our own conversations, not necessarily aligned with the latest fashions and what the popular kids are talking about, or even what's going on in the lunchroom.
Right,
So
yeah.
yeah, the people I connected with and felt comfortable with were those who
Yeah.
were going to, hey, I got this chat room software, and you can, do this, and yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that sounded like cool if you had like stuff like that, like a chat room software or something like that. Yeah. But yeah, if you were like, yeah, you definitely would have been a nerd. What first made you feel seen in nerd culture?
I think academics. I
Mhm.
excelled academically, and it was to a certain up to a certain point, it was effortless. So that definitely made me belong in that group, in the
Mhm.
sense that the teachers loved me. I would ask questions. I'd be more involved. Looking back at it, I would annoy myself today. I'd be like, dude, don't stop asking questions. You're causing us extra homework, type of thing. But I was interested, and teachers would be like, hey, class, he just started going to school in English 3 months ago. And look at this. His essay is better than yours. And, so I found
Mm.
validation in my academic success. And that probably gave me some good confidence. I was very independent. Nobody ever asked me, hey, did you do your homework or anything? It was just I was already on those rails of, this is what I got to do. This is my responsibility. So, um, and then video games. When I got deeper into video games, when I got over here in the States, I remember TurboGrafx 16. My cousin
Mhm.
had the Sega Genesis. We were able to rent games.
Okay.
I'm not sure if it was Blockbuster Video or another place, but we could rent games for the weekend.
Right, yeah.
We would spend the weekend together and take shifts. So it'd be
Mhm.
like, okay, I'm going to sleep now. You keep playing, and then I'll wake up like, well, where'd you get? Yeah, I'm at that boss. Okay, you take over. Because the thing was, let's beat this game before we return.
Yeah.
So gaming, it gave me that place to channel and get lost. And
Mhm.
I always did things, when I look back on it, the things that pulled me, like martial arts. I used to do martial arts. In Haiti, I did judo. When I got to Chad, I was doing taekwondo. And I think I did taekwondo there. When I came to the States, I found a group doing taekwondo at a park. Just joined, I would ride my bike there.
Mhm.
So I kind of had these things that were just attractive to me. Because when,
Right.
when I came to the States, the kids, say at PE, they'd be like, it doesn't make sense to us. Like, you grew up playing tennis and soccer, and you look like you do, and you sound like you do, and it's weird. It doesn't click. So I kind of found my things around and outside school.
Mm, okay. So like your voice, I'm guessing, has gotten you like I guess gotten you a lot of questions.
Accent, yeah, people
Yeah.
people pick up
Yeah,
on the
accent,
accent.
yeah.
Well, the fact that I couldn't play basketball to save my life, it was shocking, because even in ninth grade, I was pretty tall,
Yeah.
and there were a lot of assumptions made. Like,
Right, yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
he
Tall
just showed
black
up.
man.
He's
Yeah.
gonna be good. Yeah, this is. They'd be like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Yeah.
And then when you get into, yeah, I came from Chad and I was playing soccer and tennis. First of all, where is Chad? And then, why? And I get the questions, did you ride zebras and blah, blah, blah. You know,
Yeah.
so yeah, I was that oddity for a minute.
Okay, gotcha. Um, was there a was there a fictional character that shaped how you saw yourself or who you wanted to be?
From comic books, I was always drawn to Green Lantern.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
because it was, and I always thought he was lacking actually, because I was like, okay, you're in a fight and you have this ring that can materialize whatever you conjure up,
Mm-hmm.
and you come up with a big sword. Come on, man, do better. But it was to me like that. That's that ultimate power. Anything you can think of, you can create it and use it. And so Green Lantern was attractive more than Superman or Spider Man
Mm,
or anything like that. It
gotcha.
was that one stood out.
Was it John Stewart's Green Lantern? Or is it John Stewart?
Um,
I think so.
at the time, I don't recall. I
Okay.
used to get whatever comic books. Like I didn't even have a comic book store that I regularly went to, or knew about different versions or different publishing houses. I was
Hmm.
just whatever came my way, I would consume.
Yeah.
I got into comic books a little bit heavier when my cousin got into comic books, and this is a cousin that has been in different places and grew up along probably the closest person I'm connected to.
Hmm.
But yeah, he got into comic books and exposed me. I remember around the time Spawn was coming out as a comic book.
Yeah.
Todd McFarlane, I believe, bought the number one edition
Ooh,
and
okay.
collected as well as just consumed. Whatever I purchased, I read. I was not about to buy something and just store it there for later value.
Yeah.
It was very much for. I
Right.
got a little deeper into that, which also helped my passion for drawing because
Okay.
I would look at how they draw, and there was this magazine called Wizard magazine, which was a magazine about comic books, and they went into who the artists are, what their styles are, and show you the tutorials of how to draw these heroic figures.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's that visual aspect was always a big deal.
Okay. Do you still remember Green Lantern's I don't know if it's like motto or like
Nah, I saw it for the first time and recorded it in my mind, or acknowledged that he had a motto in the movie, which they should not have made because that movie, oh my god, just like the Spawn movie, it's like come on, nah. But yeah, many times the movies let you down. But yeah,
yeah.
the yeah, but it is what it is.
No, it's cuz
That's something I memorized.
in high school we had a comic book history class.
Really?
Yeah, it was kind of cool. And I took it for junior and senior year. I didn't want it for senior. They
Wow.
just kind of gave it to me. So I was like, all right, whatever. And before every class, we had to recite Green Lantern's thing.
Wow. What high school did you go to?
Yeah.
I can imagine the demographics of that comic books history class.
Yeah.
Oh, look at here they come.
Yeah, it was.
And they look at 2 years. Nice.
Yeah, the first year it was
Nice.
like a smaller class, and then like the second year was like a bigger class. But so I know it by heart. So we had to,
Good to know. Good
in
to know.
brightest day and blackest light, no evil shall escape my sight. For those who worship evil's might, beware my power, Green Lantern's light.
That's awesome. So who is I didn't know you were that much into comic books. Do
I'm
you have
not. It
oh,
was
is there a comic book character or a character from that world? Because now they're universes, they're also movies.
right.
Is there one that resonates more with you than others?
I wasn't too much into comic books, like American. I was more into like manga. But
Okay.
like for like a comic book, because like especially my oldest brother, he was really into Marvel.
Hmm.
So there was some characters, especially from like X-Men. Like I always liked Jean Grey.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I've always liked her. Um, there was a there was a character like if I always thought like if I ever got a cat, I would name her Lady Deathstrike because I thought that was like a really cool name.
Yeah. That'll get
um,
that second book.
what's her name? Mystique. I like Mystique a
Oh, okay.
lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, Rogue's really cool.
Okay.
Um, who else? I think the Beast. I like the Beast a lot.
Hmm.
Just brilliant, but
Yeah. Yeah.
unfortunately, just like how he looks, he can't really, unfortunately, like be out in the world,
Mhm.
which is sad and unfortunate. Um,
I like your choices so far.
yeah.
No, for real. All of them have. I could say all of them almost reflect real societal. Okay, I wish I could. Mystique can change her appearance.
hmm
Uh, Rogue is basically taking people's powers, right?
Yeah,
Just
she
that
can't touch anyone, so she wears
touch.
like the special
Yeah.
gloves.
And then Jean Grey was just pure untapped power. It was just
Right.
like you
Yeah.
don't even understand
Yeah.
this mutant's abilities, and yeah,
Right.
good stuff. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing I really liked about Jean Grey. Like it's yeah, like she like her powers were just like stronger than herself from like
yeah,
what
just
I
the potential.
remember.
Yeah,
Gambit was also just like really cool cuz like he could
yeah,
touch
yeah. The
things and anything can
cards.
and explode.
Yeah,
So
he did have a cool factor to him. You wore that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also like Cyclops. Like it was always weird for the movies cuz like they always put like Wolverine as like kind of the main. And I
Mm-hmm.
think it was cuz who he was played by. I don't know why his name is slipping me, but yeah, Australian
Yeah.
dude. Um
Yeah. I see what you mean.
like great actor
Cyclops
though, but
was
like
the leader.
Cyclops was supposed to be like the
Yeah,
leader of the X-Men.
of the X Men.
Yeah.
Even though there was that tension between him and Wolverine over the love
True, Jean
interest.
Grey. Yeah.
But I think by the time they made the films, Wolverine's popularity had outgrown. As far as reception, like if from a business standpoint, if you're going to dump all that money into making a movie, Wolverine had had so many successful runs in the comics and
Yeah.
cartoons and everything like that. It seems like it made sense to anchor that character.
True. And he's just a more interesting character overall because of like his ability to
Yeah, he's
heal.
tormented, forgot
Yeah.
chunks of his life, not sure how he got his. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. So he's just like a more interesting and dynamic character, which I get. I just thought it was funny because I know that he's supposed to be short. Like at least
very.
in yeah. So like the guy who played him is not. So, like,
Really? Okay.
yeah,
Well, you know, movie magic. They
yeah.
things up.
Yeah. Like great actor who plays him. It was just kind of funny. But yeah, since my brother was really into Marvel, like we weren't really into DC, at least not to my knowledge. I know that his favorite character is Magneto.
Okay.
Yeah, and I got him like a Magneto toy a couple of years ago for Christmas because I was a Secret Santa. Since there's so many of us, I'm the last of seven. Like, if we do like a sibling Secret
And
Santa.
sibling secret Santa. That's a lot of siblings.
Yeah. Which is nice because, like, since a lot of, we have like a bunch of nieces and nephews now, it's just kind of nice that at least one of us, like the older kids, is like,
Big family is awesome, especially if everybody can stand to be around each other. Really cool.
"Eh,
I think for kids, like some of the things that I remember growing up, different cousins, because my parents are also, my mom is one of eight and my father is one of five.
okay.
And vividly, I remember kind of meeting different family members and seeing, oh, that person is similar to me in this way, and this
Mm
other one is similar to me in that way.
hmm. Mm hmm.
And in a sense, finding reflections of myself and validation of who I am, kind of like the picture of a broken mirror comes to play. Like, small pieces of it reflect different pieces of yourself.
Right.
So being
Yeah.
around family is something I value to this day. I expose my children to as many of their cousins, their aunts and uncles, and even cousins' children are cousins.
Mm
It's
hmm.
just I don't count degrees of cousins.
Right.
But
Yeah.
yeah, it's that this safe environment where you tend to see, okay, well, I'm like this person, I'm like that person. I get to see, so even if you don't see yourself in your nuclear family, like mom and dad, and those other ones in the house aren't like me this way, but cousin so and so, yeah, we connect there. So
Mm hmm.
I don't know, it has a grounding effect, in my opinion.
No, like, you definitely have a point. Honestly, I do want to get a bit closer with like my cousins. Like it's not like it's been awkward. It was just because like since like my parents divorced, like
Mm.
5 years ago, about
It's
separated.
not
So
your fault, Leandro. You don't have to stay away from the cousins. It's not your
No, I know that. It's just kind of like because I was closer to like the cousins on my dad's side.
fault. Okay.
Like I it's like I just don't it's weird cuz it's like I wouldn't mind sharing like what happened like from my point of view, but at the same time
Yeah.
it's like I don't know. Yeah, I
Yeah.
do have to make a better effort at actually doing things. Like they had something like earlier this month
Hmm.
and I was thinking about going and then I just totally forgot. And like I also just kind of don't want my mom to like ask about it. It's like, can I just go see my cousins?
Yeah. Okay. It sounds, if I may, I may,
Sure,
and,
you're
you
going
know,
to.
but it sounds like you're making other people's business yours. Like you're not responsible for your parents' divorce.
No.
I learned, and I'm very deliberate about unidirectional relationship. So I have a relationship with my mom. I have a relationship with my dad. I
Mhm.
don't have a relationship with them as a couple. I'm not interested.
Gotcha.
So you can't be my friend and ask me to be mad at somebody else because you're mad at them. That's my relationship with them versus. So maybe it's too much compartmentalization, but I find it gives me the freedom to like who I like and connect with who I want to connect with. And I'm not responsible to justify to anybody else why I like this person.
Okay.
So I had to also figure out there's this analogy I have in my mind about two people with big feet can't dance too close to each other because they'll
Okay.
step on each other.
Yeah.
So there's people who have longer distance relationships. I love you. You're in my life. I care about you, but we just can't be too close. And maybe there are topics we just don't broach
Okay.
because, and the existence of that topic is not going to take you away from my life, but we're not going to talk about that thing.
Mhm.
If you bring it up, I'm out. Like it's just, I don't know, call
Yeah.
it avoidance or whatever I came up with, but it seems to work.
Yeah, no, I get you. And like sometimes you kind of need that sort of relationship,
Hmm.
especially when it comes to parents, because like the relationship between like me and my father is just like it's just hard, and it's not necessarily what he did to me like directly. It wasn't
Hmm.
anything like that. It was more so just like indirectly that still affects me on like just like a very like visceral level. There are moments where like I want to like reach out to him and talk to him about things. And there's just like, I don't really want to like open that door.
Hmm.
It's like, it's kind of like a door with like a slot. It's like a mail slot. It's like, here you go. Here's just something that made me think of you. Bye. Close.
Well, I mean, I'm hearing that you want to, though you would like it to be more simple. It can be difficult across generations as well,
Mm-hmm.
because your level of, um, I don't know, progressive nature, open-minded, like mental health and relationships, and have the hard conversations. I know that culture shapes you and pushes you there, and you fit there and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody, especially older Caribbean male. I pronounce things funny. My wife is always jumping on me. Say that word again. So
Right.
Caribbean
Yeah.
male, older Caribbean male.
Yeah.
I could see a lot of obstacles to having that relationship as clearly as you want it, but at the same time, he's your father, and you are a third him at least, right? There's nature versus nurture, his genes, your mom's. So there's value there.
Yeah.
Maybe you explore how much of a niche you can, how much of a relationship you can carve out. Time is finite as well.
That is
Regrets
true. Yeah.
suck.
Yeah.
So, it could be every Sunday I'm going to have a 15-minute phone call and keep making that signal of,
That's way too often, but I understand.
you start where you're comfortable. But
15
I
minutes a week for that's a whole hour a month.
yeah, the whole hour. Imagine. But
No, but like,
just reach out, take a step maybe. I'm hoping the regret of, oh my goodness, what if I had tried? And what if,
yeah, uh,
it is parental figures.
yeah, that is definitely like a thing that I think about because we're all getting older. Unfortunately, like I definitely don't want to live with that. Like, oh, I should have.
I
So
agree.
yeah, I guess I gotta do that.
Your face is like, damn it. Oh,
It's like I
and I,
gotta, I gotta be an adult.
that freaking advice. Yes. But that's how it starts sometimes. Like,
Yeah,
okay,
but it's just like it's
could be
different
better.
coming from you because you're a Caribbean father.
I am. I am. Yes, and I've had complicated relationships as well with my
Mm,
daughters because Caribbean father, my current third marriage, 22 years, so going strong, but relationships with my daughters from my first marriages were not as straightforward as I would have liked them to have been, and yet
mm-hmm.
now I can say them, now we're connected and now we even intentionally lean into building and discovering and getting to know each other and everything like that. Absolutely open there. So even I think some of the advice I just gave you definitely stems from myself
Mm-hmm.
being a father and valuing the affection and the connection with my daughter. And yeah, it's special. It's not a one-way thing. It's not just for you. I know, well, I have to assume, that it's going to bring him richness in life as well to have your child reach out to you in their adulthood. And,
Yeah,
we don't show it. We do have feelings.
yeah. I've
God
heard.
forbid.
I've heard of these Caribbean male feelings.
Yeah, emotions, right?
Caribbean dad feelings.
Yeah, it's we need to do better there. We need to.
Yeah. And it's also just kind of like understanding that, like, hey, that may never happen. And it's just accepting this person for who they
Oh yeah,
are.
you're not going to change them.
Yeah, it's like, it's one of those things like, okay, I know who this man is. It's like, all right, this is just what I'm going to get. So I'm going to
Yeah.
just try to, I guess, figure out the relationship that I want to have because like I know who he is and I'm
Mhm.
just like, all right, this is just the relationship that I want to have.
One thing comes to mind again is you know who the person is, but then you look at the intent behind maybe their actions. It's like, okay, this person is flawed, but they gave me the best they could. And so, despite so many things you can list, like black on white, that man, characteristic and this and this and this, it's like, but this person, the intent of this person toward me, their actions were motivated by, or maybe I'm like digging a grave here by bringing these things up. No, maybe I'm pushing you the other way, but we give grace. Nobody's perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. No one's perfect.
Let's leave it at that.
That's it.
Yeah.
No one's
She's like, yeah, hard to do.
perfect. Tell me about a time you performed masculinity in a way that now makes you cringe.
My mind goes to relationships. I think there were times in the evolution of teenage, getting into girls getting
Mm,
into me, having my heart broken, being hurt. I would consider interaction with the feminine side to be part of masculinity. I think a characteristic of a good man is how you relate to women, daughters, spouses, significant others, whatever.
mm,
So I would say that for a while, the pain that I felt getting my heart broken first time or first few times, probably I would look at the relationships, quote relationships or interactions after that and go, hurt people. Could
mm-hmm.
have done better. You could
Yeah.
have, didn't have to go that hard. That was in my youth, but still, if you're gonna be a man about it, that's you're responsible for your actions. So I
Right.
would, yeah, some of those approaching relationships very, very much confrontation like. It's kind of like, okay, so I get in
Mm.
here, she's gonna break my heart. How do I keep at bay? And it was very strategic and very
Mm.
protected. Don't want to be vulnerable, but still want this relationship type of thing.
Right.
So fortunately, grew through that, evolved through that. Yeah, that would be something that I look back at with some better guidance, maybe with more people to talk to about those things. Had I had the language of emotions and everything like that, maybe I would
Mm-hmm.
have shortened that phase or gotten through it in another way. It all adds up to who I am today, so I'm not going to erase it. But
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
yeah,
So you went into relationships or dating knowing or believing that she was going to break your heart. These women were going to break your heart.
no, after the first couple of heartbreaks, it was like, oh, that's what they do.
Yeah.
Okay,
What
so
what
if
can
it's
you
war, we're gonna go out there and have war.
right, gotcha. Can you go into like these heartbreaks? Like what? What happened?
Let's see. Getting cheated on
Mm.
in high school, having friends, or not even friends, but acquaintances coming up and telling you, hey, you know that girl you think you're dating? Yeah, she was with so and so this weekend, and these are the details, and da 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 da.
Ooh,
You
okay.
know, kind of tied with heartbreak and public embarrassment on top of it in high school
Yeah.
days, where
Yeah.
persona and reputation. Not that I had a reputation, because I was definitely not one of the popular kids or anything like that, but still,
People knew
walking down
you.
the
Yeah.
halls thinking, oh, everybody's snickering at the fact that I'm the so-called, you know, I
Other
guess the
guy.
butt of that joke.
The what?
So the butt of the joke in the
Oh,
sense, right?
gotcha.
It's like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, his so-called girlfriend was with that dude over there, and blah blah blah. Yeah, several of those types of things probably, yeah, that definitely impacted my approach to be more, all right, it's a, yeah, get yours before they get you type of situations.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
I was jaded for a while.
Yeah, I totally feel that. Wasn't really like high school or even college. It was like afterwards, and like it
Like college.
like after well, I started like I guess like actually dating like after college.
Okay.
I didn't like date in high school. I didn't date really in college. Like I would like like make out with guys, but it wasn't until like after college I got like a little bit more serious with things. And just like learning and finding out things, especially probably things I should have known in college or beforehand,
Yeah.
and just like teaching myself that like,
Hmm.
oh, okay, if he's holding my hand it doesn't mean anything, if we kiss it doesn't mean anything, if I meet his parents, if I meet his mom, it doesn't mean anything.
Those hard
Nothing.
lessons.
Yeah, it's like none of this means anything. So
Because if you have to tell yourself later on that that doesn't mean something, it's typically a, well, my emotions started going with that gesture and the what, and then I now have to chop that. Yeah. So yeah,
right, yeah.
that pain of ouch. Let me fit into, yeah. I understand
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, okay, this is just like we're hanging out, we're hooking up, we're just dating. It's not like
Keep it light.
serious. Yeah.
And really, I'm okay. To my wife might disagree, but I'm a romantic. Like my heart. Really, you're gonna laugh?
You said you I didn't know what you were gonna say. You prefaced it with saying my wife will disagree. Your wife.
Okay, in the sense that I might not do the traditional flowers and, well, I do cards. I do my own cards, right? I
Okay.
got card stock, and I do my own style of writing specifically for my wife and stuff. But
I would
I
consider
would
that
say I do it
romantic.
my own way. But I'm a romantic in the sense that my feelings are at the surface.
Okay.
So I'm not, yeah, I'm I hate the word sensitive, but
I mean, if you're sensitive, that's fine.
yeah. So okay, for me, it's difficult to be in something and saying to myself, okay, this doesn't mean it, because my heart wants to run with it. So I used to say I
Hmm.
can fall in love 3 times. I can sit at an airport, wait for 4 hours for a next flight, and fall in love twice.
Okay.
Just looking, maybe conversation, maybe not, but it's,
Yeah.
not not crazy or anything like that. But because my emotions are very strong, it's difficult to be in something and trying to tell myself, no, don't let your heart get involved and don't do this. And so
Yeah.
when you were
Yeah.
describing all those things you learned, I could feel that, oh man, but this is like a living hell, right?
It is.
Because
Yeah.
I'm feeling this and my brain is saying, no, don't feel this, but I
Right.
still want to enjoy that. And so
Oh yeah.
just to say I feel.
Yeah. No, I feel you too about like waiting at an airport and like falling in love twice. I get
Yeah,
that.
it's
You see
between
somebody
the
gorgeous.
imagination. Yeah, imagination and watching, and you're telling yourself stories. To
Yeah.
me, people watching is a lot of fun. Like at a good airport, oh yeah, this person
Oh
is a
yeah.
spy. This person is gonna go there. This person is flying from here. That briefcase has secrets in it. You're just watching people and letting the inner child free.
Yeah, true. That's funny. The briefcase has secrets. Oh, no, but I feel you on that. But yeah, like it was like it definitely like hardened me and jaded me,
Yeah.
especially because of also online dating as well. Like it was just
Mhm.
hard to find someone who's gonna let my emotions just kind of run, because that's like what I what I liked
Just
and
to be
enjoyed.
free, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Just like that kind of like love at first sight kind of moment and
Hmm.
like that spark and like it's hard to find. But like usually when I would find it, it would it would be trouble because then like he wouldn't have the same feelings and
Mm.
like it would just take me a long time to get over it. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Sounds exactly like what I'm describing. You're in it for real. Your whole self is in it. So,
Yeah.
but it takes I think the right thing to do is to keep going. Like if you have that love, right, and you have that love to give, and you're looking for that connection, and
Mm.
bad things do happen while you're looking for it.
Yeah.
But if you allow that to jade you and close you up, then when the right one does come across your path, you're not available anymore.
Right. Yeah.
So it takes some kind of courage to still wear your heart on your sleeve and still be out there and still be willing to,
Mhm.
despite the whatever. And I think maybe that's what I lacked initially when I was first getting my heart broken. I was like, oh, my heart's not on the table anymore. I'm
Right.
ready.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's where
Yeah.
I would say less than the best. But, teenager, what did I know?
Right, yeah. Pretty much like, I was just kind of glad that I was able to just like open my heart slowly, especially for my boyfriend because and I,
Absolutely.
I told him at the beginning that like you have to ask me out, like ask to say like I like you want me to be your girlfriend.
Really,
So
you laid down the law.
yeah, because
Okay.
I've been confused so many times.
Okay. So you wanted clarity. Yeah.
Right. I believe he told the story in his episode. And when he asked me, like it took me a while to like accept because like he was my first boyfriend.
Okay.
And I was just kind of like nervous because I've been single my whole life. And I was
I
just like,
understand.
yeah, so it was honestly scary. But I kind of just like, because when he brought it up again and he was like upset, rightfully so, because it was like a month. Um,
Wow.
yeah,
Wow.
because I told them like I have to like think on it. I asked him like a list of questions and still had to think on it. But I was just like, I
Wow.
pretty much consider this man my boyfriend anyway. Like, so
Okay.
let me just go for it. But I was like, when we decided to be official, like I would have to admit, like I wasn't ready still. But like I also have to know that you got to go in things when you're
Yeah.
not ready. And I didn't really apply that to relationships because there's been
Mhm.
times when like, the moment when you're just like wearing your heart on your sleeve and like you get like this spark and this thing and it's like, well, I like this guy a lot. It's like I we get along really well. Like I trust him a lot, and like we have a great time together. So I'm like, yeah, let me do this, and I'm really glad because like it's like I know what's out there, and I know that he was there and he was right for me. So I was like,
That's beautiful.
yeah, I was like, why should I continue to look when I already know what's out there, and B, there's somebody right in front of my face.
And all those difficult and painful lessons. For example, if you look at vocalizing to him, you need to do this to make it clear for me. That's something you learn from being confused and these things. And as we mature and we understand what we require in a relationship,
Mhm.
what are our non-negotiables and everything that you're only gonna stumble through life and figure that out. I don't think
Right.
anybody comes out just knowing, okay, relationship number one, I know I need this, I need this. So we're all developing and we continue to develop. So that like that courage we talked about to keep trying, to not say, forget that side, I'm not gonna do it, or I'm gonna be half involved.
Mhm.
But yeah, to not just keep trying, but to say, okay, in order to give this thing the best chance
Mhm.
to continue. Because I can remember going from that confrontational, battle like approach to relationships and it transitioning into, okay, how do I never feel guilt?
Mhm.
So how do I go in there and be so clear and so transparent and so honest and truthful, and I can be comfortable and be myself, and just nobody can ever say that I did to them what was done to them.
Yeah.
So when I came out of that side, it was like leading with this is this, this is this, this is this. I don't do that, and,
Right.
and
Right.
even dating had an approach like I'm gonna take you to see this movie. Doesn't matter if you want to see it. Just in case you are completely boring, I'm going to enjoy my movie. Or I'm going to take you to this restaurant where I want to go eat. Because it was like, well, you know, I got to be happy too. So yeah, and then you balance out. It's like a pendulum. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, pain tends to be that motivator of, ouch, okay, I did that wrong. I don't want that to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you get hurt
Experience.
on one side, hurting people on the other side, I don't like it either.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah. Yeah.
I would, yeah, comparing the pain of somebody broke your heart to compare it to, oh my goodness, I just broke this person's heart,
Mm-hmm.
equally unpleasant, in my opinion. So it had to be this, all right, look, everybody's happy on this thing and, protect everybody.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's true. Have you ever cheated on somebody?
Um, yeah, by the textbook definition of cheating, there have been some less than, and this is in the past. There have been some less than neat transitions from one relationship to the next. There might
Okay.
have been some overlaps in some,
Yeah. Yeah.
grab onto the next vine before you let go of this vine type of thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I've dealt some blows and gotten some blows as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, since this is my first relationship, I've never cheated on anyone. But like, there was this guy that I was dating, and like, it's sort of weird because it's like, if I tell people about this relationship, they're like, oh yeah, he's pretty much like an ex or whatever. And it's like, yeah, like he pretty much like, I guess in a way, like cheated on me. Cause it's like, I mean, I was like with his ex who he was like heavily involved in and all that, but it's like one of those things when like when you tell people, it's just like, well, what did you expect, they were like living together, it's like, well, you gonna freaking tell me the truth.
Yeah. Well, if you here's the thing, if you didn't go in with all the facts,
Mm-hmm.
then it muddies up so much.
Mm-hmm.
So that clarity and knowing where you stand and knowing, I'm doing my best in communication. One person is hard enough to manage. Like
Mm-hmm.
even you by yourself, right? You
Yeah,
have
yeah.
a successful career, you're homeowner, you're entrepreneurial, you're creative, pushing all these things. You want to impact society. You have all these things happening, but I'm sure you're not firing on all cylinders. Like you don't get it out of bed Sunday morning, like, let me go do
Oh
my
yeah.
run. I'm gonna do this. So this is one person managing one person. So now you get into a relationship and you have all those dynamics coming from both sides.
Right.
You have to lean into it and be like, okay, look, we have to be connected and collaborate. And here's what I'm feeling today. And did you notice that over there? And it's together, together
Yeah,
forward.
yeah.
And, yeah,
I
give
remember
yourself
one.
that patience and be honest and open. I think the relationship that ends on mutual respect and the possibility of a future friendship, I think that's the best way. Where it's like, look, you didn't do me wrong, I didn't do you wrong. Or if you did me wrong, if you were so honest about it that I can't really fault you. In a sense, humans are humans,
Right, yeah, yeah.
but you try to salvage that core connection, mutual respect, and all that. You do the best you can.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah, I agree. What belief about life, relationships, or women did you have that you had to unlearn, and what helped you change?
Oh, trusting beautiful women because they were beautiful. Duh. That didn't last long. She's so beautiful. How could she lie? No. Let's see. I think that's the surface answer. But
Mhm.
yeah, I would say I had to realize the strength of my feelings or the strength of my attraction to somebody absolve them of anything. I had to realize that, okay, this is all coming from me. This is my reaction to this person. They still need to go through the checks. I mean, when I said I was a romantic, like I'm seriously, it was my heart wants this and that's it. And it makes no sense, but this is, the thing. And so I had to learn and mature, and it even felt a little bit like, okay, fine, I won't be as idealistic in life as I would love
Mhm.
to, because love feels so strong and so pure, and like it's the right thing. It's so inebriated. And so coming to terms with realizing that, okay, I have a heart that likes to jump, but I also have a brain and I also have experience. So I had to, yeah, learn to tone myself down and learn to observe and not jump in and not necessarily be. And some of these lessons my wife helped me learn, as far as
Mhm.
dealing with other people and everything like that. Like, hey, be a little bit more guarded. At the same time, give people the opportunity, right? But you don't have to be wide open.
Mm-hmm.
And so you find that balance. When you look at, I have to build relationships. I have to build trusting relationships with men and women as part of my job, as part of
Mm-hmm.
my day, right? I
Yeah.
used to do a lot of recruiting also, where they would send me like, yeah, I think you went into some of those events as well, dealing with college students. And so you get into a situation where you have to establish rapport and you get to practice doing that over and over again. And
Mm-hmm.
people smell fake.
Yeah.
You've met somebody where you're like, that might as
Yeah.
well be a snake because I don't know who I just spoke to, but that wasn't the real person.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's that professional aspect. Oh, you're the way into something. So somebody has, So I think through practice and finding the comfort zone, so that in human relationships, I think that's what I like about leadership in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's an extension of human behavior.
Mm-hmm.
It's an extension of the same skill sets that you're going to use with your children, with your spouse, with your neighbors. It's to that coming together to collaborate thing and getting better and better at that probably helped me evolve into. And I'm nowhere near perfect. I'm nowhere
Yeah.
near claiming, oh my goodness, I don't have to worry about anything when it comes to relationships. But I'm a
Mm-hmm.
lot more fully present in the thing rather than,
Okay.
you did this thing. I used to have this thing, for example, somebody who talks with their hands. Like if you're across the room and I watch you and you're talking with your hands, like I have to go talk to her.
Mm.
She's smart. No, some people talk with their hands too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but in your mind you build up this whole thing, and so you live, learn.
Yeah, that's interesting. Like it is funny how like we just sort of make these connections with people and things when it like doesn't even make like any sense remotely.
Yeah,
Like I mean I still kind of do, but I understand that it's not true. But I always liked guys with big ears because I've heard that, if you have big
really.
ears, you're a good listener. I I don't know what me and this guy were doing. Like I guess trying to like talk to each other. This was like high school a little bit. He had really small ears and he was a terrible listener.
Confirmed it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I think
I was
we all have these ridiculous biases that
yeah, we do.
some people have confirmed for us. Probably most people would probably be ashamed to admit them, but yeah, experience teaches you these lessons, and you got to roll with what you know.
Mhm. I have
Yeah,
I have a friend like back in college, maybe it was after college, I can't remember. He called it like they mess your mind up. Like I don't know, like you say that, "Oh, I'm not into I don't know, women with dreadlocks," and you get with a
mhm.
woman with dreadlocks and then like now that's all you're into. And they're
Yeah,
like-
either for the good or the bad, right? Like,
right,
you
yeah.
know,
Or like,
I think the most popular one are the zodiac signs. People who
mm,
say, "Oh, I do not date such and such." So I'm
right.
like, so you're telling me if the person was born in this calendar period, they're bad for you? Like, this makes no sense. But people believe in that, and then
Right.
there's that reinforcement. No, I have experience to prove that, or people from that geographic region. Oh, that
Yeah.
country? I'm not. No, those women are crazy. Okay, sure, if you say so. Yeah, I have a lot of friends with those. Yeah, even towns.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Yeah.
But if there's anything I want anyone to get out of this podcast is that don't date a Scorpio, especially a Caribbean Scorpio.
Come on now. Okay, what month is Scorpio? What?
It's like October, November, like late October
Really?
to yeah, yeah, yeah. I think so. I think it's late October
And
to
what is
November.
this? What are the characteristics of these evil people that you're trying to protect the rest of the world from?
I don't
These
know.
men born between October and November. And wait, did you say Caribbean Scorpio specifically, or and all of them?
I don't know. There's like because there's like a whole thing about like Caribbean men. Like I've saw some stuff online. Like
Yeah,
if you've ever dated a Caribbean man, you might be entitled to compensation. It's like they're not wrong, but,
Ah,
but it's funny. It's
well, we don't like broad strokes and stereotypes, but the machismo and the yes, we do have some cultural
Hmm.
tendencies that could improve. You know, we do have some evolving to do in some ways. We do have qualities too, and yeah, and it depends on who's telling the story. I think.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
for sure. Of
yeah,
course. Yeah. No,
yeah.
it's all a joke, but it's
It's
just
all like
funny.
half a
Like,
joke. Right? It's like
yeah, I mean, like there's always truth in jokes. There's-
there you go.
yeah.
There you go.
Um, what was a defining low moment in your life, and how did you overcome it?
Wow, low moment. Well, most recently, I would say probably 4 or 5 years ago, my
Mm.
daughter had a very serious health scare. So this was
Yeah.
at yeah, I was at it was Ultimate Software at the time. It was at UKG, and she had a brain tumor,
Yeah.
and she had to get surgery. I think you know about this,
Right. Yeah.
and that was the most. Um, I think as a parent, it just rocked my foundation. Uh, we, myself, my wife, a lot of family support. That hmm, I I can't even put into words how that impacted us. But we came together and we did the necessary. You know,
Hmm.
we basically camped out at the hospital. Family gathered around us, helped us support other our other children. Um, we had Ultimate Software at the time, as you know, the culture extremely supportive. They had the leave and the HR, and there's a group cares that was in touch. So definitely everything we needed to deal with the situation, which fortunately turned out to be positive as far as intervention and cure and all that. But still, I would say a couple years later, we realized, whoa, we dealt with this, but we don't know how to get over it. Like we don't
Mm.
know how to digest what we had to do, which
Right.
led us to
Yeah.
therapy. We ended up going to family therapy as a way to process because we just blocked everything, did the necessary, showing up to like radiation therapy, different therapies. We just went into go mode and do mode and for the whole ordeal. And then what that led to was eventually down the road us realizing we're not okay. Like we survived this, but we're not okay. And so family therapy, and that turned on so many lights and absolutely life saving and a sense of returning to quality of life and getting you to understand, look, here's where you are, and if your brain is a muscle, if your mind is a muscle, yours has like been flexing since then, and here's how you relax, and giving you the tool set and explaining people,
Yeah.
right? So that was really interesting as far as learning how to deal with myself, learning how to deal with people, learning emotions, learning the language of deeper understanding. Interestingly, right, during family therapy, you have individual sessions as well. And
Hmm.
so the therapist starts to go into my past, looking for potential, what happened, what shaped you.
Hmm.
And then
Yeah.
she finds out about uh, Haiti, leaving under those situations, mob violence in the street, the war, evacuation, and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, whoa, whoa, you are a whole issue by yourself. Like, we're going to need to dig into this stuff right here. So, yeah, a lot of unraveling. And I think everybody should probably, at some point, get some therapy, just like you do your physical checkup
Yeah.
because it's a professional trained in how your mind works and everybody's processing the world through these oddly shaped lenses, right, which is your
Mhm.
mind. Everything that happens to you kind of twists your mind a little bit,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
to protect you or because you love it or whatever, and that changes how you perceive reality.
Hmm.
And if you don't have a clue of what you're walking around with and you're just receiving and reacting to the reality that you digest, you might be doing a lot of damage. You might be doing a lot of disservice to yourself. You might
Hmm.
be missing out on some opportunities. So having a professional help you through understanding the human mind and the generalities, emotions and I thought it was very helpful. I thought I would have been way better off, like in high school, if they had therapy in high school or something.
Mhm.
Just to, hey, here's some equipment and go deal with life.
Right, yeah.
So I would say that was probably one of the biggest, most impactful episodes in my life.
Mhm.
As a parent, being up against utter helplessness, that this is a medical situation, that you don't have the knowledge, the capabilities, or anything to deal with. Granted, okay, there were the benefits, there were health, insurance and everything like that, which were there. The doctors in, South Florida, all top tier. However, still helplessness as a traditional father, I would say I'm here to protect, I'm here to provide. This is my baby girl, and so yeah, I would say that was massively impactful and transformational, and,
Mhm.
as to who I am today and what I value and how I approach people, how I communicate. I remember after therapy, or after having been in therapy for a while, I went and met with my parents for my mom's birthday, and I was sitting watching them. They were interacting, dancing. My two of my daughters were there. My sister was there. And I remember thinking, watching them, this is the first time I'm seeing these people in color, because I had an emotional context of their interactions, and I had a deeper understanding of what motivated them to act in certain ways. And
Yeah.
I've never seen that before. I wasn't emotionally clueless, but I think I think therapy helped me learn the language of emotion and differentiate and understand how it connects and how deeply it's ingrained into personalities and all that stuff. And very, very transformational
Yeah. I hear what you're saying. So I've been in therapy for years.
there. Okay.
There are like moments where I start to kind of like notice and accept things.
Hmm.
And my family, like for like holidays and stuff, has always been like very stressful for me.
Really.
Yeah, because I guess it's just like anticipating some kind of BS,
Hmm.
especially with one of my brothers, or just like my mom getting on me about like how I'm dressed or my weight or whatever. Just
Hmm.
like I just knew what to expect and what to
Hmm.
anticipate. So it was always stressful because it's like I always knew that I was gonna like do something wrong, even though I know that nothing I was
So
doing was
that's even before showing up to the event.
yeah.
All of this is already going on.
Yeah, because it's like you have to do this. Like, it's Thanksgiving, it's
Mhm.
Christmas. It's like you have to be with your family. Like, everybody has the day off. You don't really have a choice.
Mhm.
So it was just kind of like, all right, I'm obligated to be here and be a version of myself that isn't me. And it was just it was just very stressful. Lately though, it's been a lot better. I I'm sure like therapy has helped. Also, I'm sure that like my mom being like divorced and separated for a few years and she's kind of like calmed down a bit
Mhm.
when it comes to certain things. And I think like a lot of us are just kind of, I don't know, just like more accepting. It's not like my siblings weren't really. It was just like there was just like a few that I was really like stressed out about. And like lately that just kind of hasn't been the case, but I've also just been like just understanding and just knowing my siblings like separately in a way and just accepting
Mhm.
them for who they are and just like how we all kind of get together and interact, and it's like it's pretty beautiful. So like I yeah, it's like yeah. And like also, taking my boyfriend to like my family events,
Oh, bringing
like
the shield.
somewhat like he had to be a shield at one point, when one of my brothers did what he tends to do sometimes, which is annoying.
Yeah,
um
the long relationships, like for example, your siblings or the people in your family who knew you as a child, it can be difficult, even if you know better. When you get in their presence, you fall into that role
oh yeah, for sure, yeah.
because you've been raised by them, right?
Yeah.
So the dynamic is like you'll see yourself going, "No, this is not what I want to say or be or feel," but then because that's what takes work, because this is deeply wired. These
Mm.
people knew you before you could speak, and
Oh
so
yeah,
that
yeah,
definition of that interaction is, so it
yeah,
takes a while to rewire that. But it
yeah,
sounds like, I mean, you use the word beautiful, so it sounds
yeah.
like you're heading the right way. That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. Like it's nice that because like with my boyfriend, he also points things out and says
Okay.
things, and it's just kind of like cool to have like a different point of view. I guess it's kind of like
Yeah.
having another camera looking at.
Yeah.
So it's like you have like another view, and it's like, oh,
Mhm.
I never thought of it that way, or I never saw ourselves like that, and so it's just
Yeah.
like it's just really nice.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah, so it's definitely gotten, like, a lot better because I was, like it would just be, like, very stressful, like
I can imagine.
yeah.
I can understand that, the family drama. I tend to be the peacemaker, and to always want to bring people together and be inclusive and stuff like that. So when I'm in an area where there is that drama, it I used to internalize that, because like, wait, I love this person, they're not getting along, so I'm hurt. And
Mhm.
so I had to learn to be a little bit more of that independent, uh,
Yeah.
de decouple my relationships and have one-on-ones. Then
Right,
that's
yeah.
stuff we learn along the way. Our big family, yeah, big families is big drama. You have
Yeah.
these strong characters that come together. We don't hold back for family. I don't know
Yeah.
if it's a cultural thing, but we'll go to the office and button up and be proper and everything. But around family, everybody lets their hair down,
Right,
and
yeah.
yeah, the
Yeah.
class.
Yeah. It's like we're allowed to be ourselves, but it's like a different side of ourselves, but
Yeah,
it's still part of us.
it's the yeah. I don't want to qualify it as the best or the worst or anything like that, but it's the unguarded. It's the, you should take me as I am, and by the way, I don't like you.
Mhm, yeah, right.
So, and I'm gonna let
Exactly.
you know I disapprove of this that you're doing, and I give myself permission to tell you about your business. Yeah, it's
Mhm.
a beautiful mess for sure.
Yeah. Um, was was there ever a moment when you felt close to giving up on love or connection altogether? And what pulled you out of that?
Um, I would say probably that same phase that I had was the closest one, of just approaching these relationships in a less than fully involved and vulnerable way.
Mhm.
I think I no, I don't think I ever thought of giving up on women. That's very, very deeply ingrained in me. I think that's the proper way to say it.
Mhm.
I, and that there has been this evidence, in a sense, when I moved with my family overseas in 2013, took my wife and my two children to the south of Haiti. That was the town where I was sent as a baby when my parents were in New York.
Mm.
I always was told that, oh, you were really loved in that town, and people used to come borrow you. So I was the baby, and so cousins, family, friends, whatever, hey, come take me for a walk, a stroll. And when we moved there, I kept getting introduced to these beautiful women, and it was like, oh yeah, she used to come borrow you, and I was like, it's not my fault. You know, you guys spoiled me, and I don't know. I feel that, yeah, it's very strongly drawn to
Mhm.
women, and so the idea of giving up was never a consideration. The transformation of the type of interaction did go outside of what I consider the best kind of connection and collaboration, and mutual enjoyment of each other. But yeah, that would be the closest that I got. In a sense, it was giving up the ideal of it and having less than the ideal. But now it's more of it needs to be right. That's not negotiable.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
So sorry, like you cut out like a 2 seconds, which isn't bad,
Okay.
but I guess essentially you were saying like there wasn't really a time because like you kind of would always I guess reflect on like a previous moment.
Giving up on women was never an option.
Right.
It
Yeah.
was. I might have redefined what it was to be in a relationship,
Mhm.
and I think I think I'm relationship oriented.
Mm.
I think even when I was not like strictly monogamous or anything like that, it wouldn't be a bunch of one night stands. I like the idea of a connection and at least a
Gotcha.
friendship. So I'm kind of wired that way. So what I would have given up on was what was necessary to have that ideal connection on all levels versus just let me get what I need. And that was a finite period in my life.
Mm-hmm.
So that would have been the compromise in order to avoid being vulnerable or being so vulnerable in these relationships because I was so afraid of getting hurt.
Mm-hmm.
But then growing out of that and continuing to evolve, it's more like the significance of the connection and the mutual vulnerability. And like you can't have intimacy without vulnerability. You can't
Right. Right.
have, exploring each other and understanding deep rooted values and, that true connection requires you to be wide open. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think that's what I shied away from in order to avoid pain.
Gotcha. What's a relationship, romantic, platonic, or familial, that deeply reshaped who you are today?
Hmm. Oh my goodness. Wow, there are several. There
Mm.
are there are several, and some of them are good, and some of them are like bad. Wow. Well, going like looking into the past, the closest one definitely my wife.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we've been together 22 years, and I would say the degree of freedom that I have to truly be myself unfiltered, and the confidence that um okay, imagine you're in a room and you're giving a speech or you're doing something, and
Mm-hmm.
then somebody walks into the room and you get better at it just because they're there, even if you
Yeah.
don't say anything. Just their presence is like, oh, okay, I'm, you know.
Yeah.
So she has that effect on me in the sense that we have a connection, and then we went through therapy together, family therapy and individual therapy and couples therapy and all that stuff as
Mm-hmm.
a side effect of our daughter's health challenges and everything. So I feel that not only do we have the benefit of this natural connection, like we fit into each other, we're made, but now we also have the knowledge to pursue that even further and to be able to use techniques to explore each other and question and have conversations. Like we talk so much. We
Mm.
talk we talk all the time. We're making boxes, we're packing, we're cooking, we're cleaning, we're driving. In these conversations, interestingly, people who don't know us often think we're arguing,
Mm-hmm.
but we have disagreements. We have vivid disagreements, but we're comfortable to express our disagreements with each other. You probably have witnessed some of those.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so that relationship has given me, um, I think it has defined what relationships could be for me, as far as when somebody is truly comfortable, another person is truly comfortable and confident in themselves, how
Mm-hmm.
much they can be vulnerable and how much that can lead to beautiful things coming out of that collaboration. I definitely consider my relationship with my wife a collaborative relationship. We do co-parent, definitely, but I feel the potential of us collaborating on whatever is
Mm-hmm.
just immense, right? So that would be, looking back, the first major impactful relationship that's had transformed me. Um, Jumping back, way back, my parents are in a sense very different individuals.
Okay.
So just to illustrate, my mother, devout Christian, raised Catholic, probably would have dedicated her life to church had she not met my father. And
Okay.
then of course we have the family. My father, uh, occasions for going to church, wedding, funeral, didn't leave him alone.
Mm-hmm.
Like he doesn't do. So I grew up with two very different people, and seeing them definitely collaborate successfully to a certain degree, but also seeing the places that they don't overlap and the
Mm-hmm.
places that they don't connect and everything like that. I think that was like anybody's parents. Everybody's parents are always going to influence them deeply. But I think the strongest message I got from my parents was the choice that in any situation, there's more than one way to approach something. And my
Yeah.
parents were not of the type that would go and discuss something and come back with the united front to their children. and say, no, you're not going to this thing.
Mhm.
It was more of a, your mom said no, but your dad said yes. So what are you going to do?
Oh,
So,
okay.
there was not a, we are always in agreement, or we don't show where we passionately disagree about even our own internal things. Yeah. So thinking about impact, and then I've had individuals that I admire. I have an
Mhm.
uncle who passed away who was one of he. There are all those adults that you meet as a child who treat you as a human being and not as a child. I don't
Mhm.
know if that makes sense to you. Maybe it's in the culture that I grew up where children stayed in their side and adults stayed in
Yeah.
their side. This is my father's younger brother who always had this curiosity about me and always listened to me and pushed my ideas further. I
Mm.
remember he would kind of mess with my mind and see. For example, I remember him. We were at some family gathering, and he said, "All right, we're gonna play a game. You're gonna stand here and pretend to throw rocks at this pole until you hear a rock hit the pole." And I was
Oh.
like, "That's not gonna happen. I'm not throwing rocks. I'm gonna be here all day." And he's like, "Well, how do you know?" Until you. So he would play these, just curious, pushing my limits and probing and kind of messing with my mind, but
Okay. Yeah.
in a pulling and stretching kind of way, which I find myself doing with my kids a lot.
Yeah, you
My
do
my
do that.
son, my 16-year-old son recently was watching me have a conversation with my 4-year-old. He was like, "Dad, you talk to her like she's AI." I was like, "Oh, really?" I didn't know, because I love asking them things they have no business knowing. Like, what does God look like? And then their imagination produces these amazing
Right.
things. They
Yeah.
have really fascinating conversations. But yeah, I think that the yeah those handful of people I've been, now that you made me think more about it, I have absolutely been blessed with some very impactful people. I've been loved by people who love tenaciously,
Mhm.
who just had my back, like, regardless of education levels or sophistication or whatever, what part of the world they grew up in, what resources they had, just the dedication to me, to my well-being. I've definitely been privileged to receive from those types of people. So, and they've shaped my sense of dedication. I think
Mhm.
if I'm one of those, if you're on my team, you're on my team. That's it. It doesn't matter, what changes. It's like you're in family is not just what you're born into. I think family you still acquire
Yeah.
as you move
Yeah.
through life. Some people, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah. But that's something definitely I need to think more on. Those lists of people and why I'm thankful to each of them. And then of course there are the opposite, the
Yeah.
ones that you deal with in life that teach you what not to.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. When did you first start feeling like an adult, or at least like you were no longer a child?
has not happened yet. Yeah, to be completely honest, um, I'm okay. I'm a clown.
Mhm.
I'm practical jokes. I have okay, 16-year-old son. Saturday morning, I'm up. He's not. So go into his room, pull the sheets, tie them in a knot, throw them back on his bed, close his door. Saturday morning. Yeah, it's. I think I'm not saying I'm childish or I'm not capable of doing adult things, but I have definitely not lost the voice inside.
Mhm.
That is the 8-year-old that's saying it would be cool if we could do this, and it would be cool if we could do that. Yeah, we have an adult now that we use as a tool to get these things done, but I remember being at meetings in like Ultimate Software, UKG meetings, and then have a thought like, oh my God, I we're doing this and these people are so serious about what it is we're doing and I'm helping the situation. Do they have any clue that I'm thinking what would they do if I scream this out right now? Or how would they react? Because it's like you take a kid to school to work with you. So I think I like that too. I think it
Mhm.
gives an aspect of color. It allows me to relate to people. I feel very comfortable with kids. Kids are drawn to me also. Kids and
Mhm.
animals tend to be drawn to me. Like if I go to people's house, their pets tend to come to me, and I love to go play with the kids. I'll be at the bounce house, and I not just my children, but I have a very protective instinct to children.
Mhm.
I feel like once I became a parent, it is just on. You
Yeah.
protect children, you look out
Yeah.
for children, help them grow, whether
Yeah.
it's my children or not.
Yeah.
So if I see like a lost child, it's I have to help. It's
Yeah.
somebody. At the same time, I'm very careful of, okay, I'm a big scary looking dude. I'm not gonna run up on this kid, but I'm gonna be like, find this kid help or whatever.
Right, yeah.
So I can get to children's level. I love their truth. I love their unfiltered, unmanipulative, no
Mhm.
intentions other than just here's what I'm feeling, thinking.
Mhm.
So often I feel more comfortable with kids, like at
Mhm.
family gatherings, and it's you don't have to break the ice with kids. So yeah,
Yeah.
the answer, I guess, long-winded answer of I'll let you know
When
when
that
I,
happens.
and I think my wife would agree on that.
No, I hear you. There was like the whole marketing team flew out to Dallas like 2 months ago. I think that's when I went to Panera like with like you and your wife.
Mhm,
I think it was like a couple of days or so before I was flying out or something like that. And we had a workshop with this man named Duncan Wardle who used to work for Disney, like I think in Pixar and things like that.
mhm,
And he was like very, very brilliant man. I'll see if I could find like some YouTube videos on him and send it to you. But he was like essentially saying how, kids are so creative and everything and imaginative, and then once we get older and we go to like school and they teach you to like be like this and act like this and
mhm,
talk like this, and then that kind of like breaks you down, and then you lose that, and then
mhm.
you start to become afraid of like expressing like your silliness. So like he was helpful with like, you know doing like these workshops and stuff to like kind of help, the marketing department kind of just like break out of that a bit.
That
It
makes sense.
reminded me a lot of like he did a lot of like
Mhm,
improvisational tools, like similar tools that I learned when I was doing improv for a few
mhm,
years. Just like helping to build the imagination and create something, because we're told no a lot,
mhm.
and we have like a big idea, we're told no, and then it goes to a smaller idea, and that's told no, and then we go to a smaller one, and then we just end up doing what we've always been doing.
Yeah,
And then like nothing changes, when like I'm not saying that my big idea was the best or the greatest idea. It's just like maybe don't try to diminish it. Just
yeah. It's worth pursuing.
right, yeah.
The wonder, the aimless. Like if you look at how kids play, I
Mhm.
don't know if you ever heard or if I shared with you this experiment they did where they had some challenge, which was either building something out of spaghetti or some whatever group activity, and they had like MBA graduates, and they had I think engineers, and they had a group of kids, and they told them, okay, go and see how tall you can stack this thing or whatever. And the outcome of the experiment is that the kids outperformed the college grads and the professional designers, and it turned out that what they had was no plan and no fear. They were like,
Mhm.
let's just get together and start doing stuff.
Right,
Whereas
yeah.
like the other people went and got a planning and said, no, the best approach would be this, and they're debating and they're trying to find
Yeah.
that pressure to win and that pressure to prove their worth. And kids are just like, let me put this here, you do this. And as creatives, because your marketing is a creative industry, software
Right.
engineering, creative industry.
Right, yeah.
As creative, we can't afford to become completely corporate. And sometimes I'll chuckle, right, at people playing the role.
Mhm.
It's like you go home and you pretend to be a lawyer. You go to work and you pretend to be whatever it is we're doing. We're gonna
Right.
circle back and unpack this and do that. Like,
Yeah.
come on,
Mhm.
man, we're playing. All this is.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's not important, but you take on this role and you get locked into it. We need to be able to think outside the box and go, you know what? What if we came completely out of left field and tried this and dared to try?
Right,
Think about
exactly.
all the innovative things that happen where we're like, I can't believe they got away with that. Wow, that's, and then we do it. So
Yeah, yeah. Like I always think of Uber, like they had the idea to be like, "Hey, have a random stranger pick you up and take you to your destination."
Yeah.
Er,
Imagine how many no's come at that idea. How
Yeah.
many naysayers you encounter before you keep pushing to it and then go, hey, see, it worked.
Yeah.
So yeah. This seminar you went to sounds interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, it was especially, that that workshop definitely like stuck out to me because it's it's you don't realize just how many like blows like you take from like being in corporate where you're just told no, you got to do like this, you got to do like that. It's like, "Oh, we need to get this out ASAP. We need this yesterday. We need," and it's like, "All right, so you just give like, just something quickly and you send it off and then
Something that
that's
aligns with the norm.
right." And
Yeah.
then
It's
yeah, and
not
then
just corporate. I think in school even. Just
oh
for
yeah.
example, trying to fit in and trying to belong in school and coming up with the idea that all the other kids go, haha, that's ridiculous. We don't play with toys anymore or whatever. And then, you put on this layer of
Mhm.
pretending to be this
Right.
thing to fit in. And then you get to college and, oh, I can't publicly speak about my passion for this thing because that's not cool. So we keep putting on these layers and layers and layers. Inside
Mhm.
of us is still that
Yeah.
inner child. But
Right.
in
Yeah.
order to walk the walk and talk the talk and fit in and be able to climb the ladder, yeah, we got to think about the layers of disguises. And do you have somewhere in your life that you can step out of all that and just be you? I think
Yeah.
maybe that's my attraction to like playing with kids and having maybe I get to be that child.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
have to be the engineer and the leader and anything like that. I
Right,
can
cuz they
just
don't care.
we're building a castle of sand and we're throwing things and we're so
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we forget that play is so important. Like it's part of growing up, it's part of learning, it's a part of, just being human.
I think just from my perspective of you, I think your social activity, which I always joke about because you're so much more social than I am, and you have Halloween parties and theme parties. I think I see you playing there, and then when I also align your passion for bringing people together, and
Mhm.
you have this anti loneliness, and you value the human connection.
Mhm.
I think that's where I've yet to come to any of your parties. I moved away, and then before there was COVID, and I think
Yeah,
there was
you were
a party
busy.
during
Yeah.
COVID even where I was like, oh my god, people are gathering at our house. Like
No,
what?
that was I guess it was end of 2021. I
I
mean, I
don't
guess
know. I was still locked in the
no,
house.
I understand, and that's
Yeah,
rightfully so. I was like, I was vaccinated, everybody at the time
yeah,
was, and like my mom had just moved out, so I was like, I gotta
yeah.
do.
But for us, I think the consequences of COVID lasted longer because COVID coincided with my daughter's health scare. So for
Right. Yeah.
afterward, she was still immunocompromised. So we
Right.
had to
Yeah.
be careful, and then eventually, everything came back to normal with her immune system. But
That's
still,
right.
I think that your play is in that realm, and I love to see you organize these things and go to these things, and even the app that you're working on and stuff is you play with friends, and you even like to have you want to help people make friends even if you're not part of it, and that's
Mhm.
awesome. It's like wow, that's cool as hell.
Yeah. Yeah. That's I guess because it kind of stems from like how I grew up because I feel like I grew up I didn't really have a lot of friends.
Mhm.
Like there were definitely moments when I just didn't have friends. And it was also just like very difficult to meet up with people, especially when you're
Mhm.
like between like the ages like 12 to like heck even like 17 if you don't have a car and or
Mhm.
license. And so like, it's another reason why I'm like very passionate about just like people being able to walk places and bus or bike to get to to get to meet people or do things, go to work, whatever it is that they have to do. Because when you don't have a car, you're just like SOL.
Yeah,
And when you're 12, you can't have a car.
yeah. And
So,
then
but
we have post COVID now, which I think the impact on COVID on that specifically, on
mhm.
the isolation.
Yeah.
And some people already had that tendency to be isolated, and then it normalized not going out and ordering your groceries. And,
Mhm.
so I think your push is necessary. I think society
Yeah.
needs a healthy dose of what it is you are offering.
Oh, thank
So
you.
yeah,
Thank you. Yeah, because it's
keep up the
definitely
good work.
something that I would have wanted, especially like after college and everything. How did you meet your wife?
First time I met her, it was at a poetry night, spoken word.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to this poetry night in Tampa, and her and two of her friends came in, and she performed that night. I showed up early, I think, and I had a table by myself close to the stage, but it was bigger than what I needed. And
Mm-hmm.
so her and her friends showed up, and they needed a place to sit. So I offered them my table, and I went to sit in the back because there were more of them than me. And it was a good looking group of women. So but then after she performed on stage and she came up to me and we had a conversation and we exchanged phone numbers. I don't think we spoke so much, but eventually there were like other opportunities to interact. And I think I don't even know like when I started having feelings for her, but she felt right.
Mm,
I don't know if that makes sense.
it does.
She was easy to talk to, and she was accepting, kind of like not expecting you to be anything other than you are in a
Mm-hmm.
sense. So there was this comfort in this. I can be myself around her. So yeah, it would have been poetry night.
Okay. I know that you were married 3 times, so twice
Yeah, be
divorced.
my third wife.
Yes. So can you go into like your first and second marriages a bit?
Yeah, I will protect the innocent and not so innocent. So first marriage, I graduate high school. I'm not quite 18 yet, or I just turned 18. I go from living at my sister's place for high school.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, I was in South Florida for 2 years, ninth grade, 10th grade, and then 11th and 12th grade, I move up to Gainesville.
Okay.
So I'm living in the only so-called adult in my periphery is my sister, who's 4 years older than me, who's
Okay.
attending the University of Florida.
Mm-hmm.
So I am at college parties, 11th grade, high school. I'm living that life, right? Good grades, everything, but definitely a lot of freedom.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm still being mothered in a sense by my sister.
Yeah.
She's definitely looking out for me. So I go from living with her. I graduate high school. I move to campus at UF. I'm in a suite for six. So I'm sharing quarters with six dudes,
Mm-hmm.
right? I hate it. I'm
Mm-hmm.
home. My sister's like 15 minutes away, but I'm homesick. I'm miserable. I'm like, this, I don't like living with six dudes. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get married. So, I mean, granted, it's not like I said out of the blue, okay, I'm gonna get married. There was a relationship going on with high school friend, very close friend. You could say almost high school sweetheart type of thing, but had some cultural affinity. Like her mother was Haitian, but she was born and raised around Gainesville. So there was this, obvious person to marry. So 18 years old, I get married. And that lasts about 3 to 4 years, I believe. My daughter is born later in the marriage,
Okay.
but soon after her birth, it's like, okay, I really start to think this marriage situation is not good for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's not it's definitely not the best of me when I'm home. It's yeah, it's I'm the shell of myself. I'm calculating my life, kind of like how do I have a career and then maybe volunteer somewhere so I don't come home a lot. And I'm looking at the rest
Oh,
of my life like, and I'm seeing
okay.
old married couples, and I'm like, why are they lying? Why are they pretending like they're happy? Like marriage is miserable, because my marriage, and at that time I don't believe in divorce. My mom,
Mm.
very strong Christian values and everything. I believe I'll disappoint her if I don't. So eventually I realized, look, for my daughter, I don't want my daughter to have me to have this version of me.
Gotcha.
That's one of the things finally that's like, I don't want my daughter to have this version of me as a father. This is not even who I am. This is a fraction of who I am. I
Mm-hmm.
would rather, it's painful as hell, right? I'm going against deeply rooted values. I should judge divorced people. I used to be like, oh, this person's broken. They're divorced. Like, this.
Oh.
So for me
Okay.
to get to a point where it's like, okay, this marriage has to end is really, all right, we, get that done. So that was a long, drawn out process, very painful. Um, got out of that. During getting out of it, got my first tattoo. Everybody who I know is like, dude, you're becoming somebody else. Like you're really transforming. But it's kind of been packed in, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm coming out to immerse in. So we're talking about beginning years of college. So I'm at UF. I'm living on family housing, and yeah, it's I don't regret making the decision. I
Yeah.
wouldn't encourage my children to make the same decision of like getting married at 18. You barely know yourself at that age,
Right. Yeah.
let alone know somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
So two young people. So yeah, the odds were not in our favor there, as well as the match. A lot of surprises, a lot of oh, this is not what I thought I was getting into. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, my first daughter came out of that marriage, and then second marriage lasted less than a year,
Okay.
and it was one of those. Okay, here is what I'm getting into. Here's what I agree. I'm gonna do this, 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 and this. This is how I operate. Okay, fine, we'll get married. And then as soon as we got married, I started to hear a lot of pressure of no, what we're gonna do this, not that. And I was like, I've been there. Not gonna
Mm.
do it again. So, but second daughter came out of my second marriage,
How old were
and
you
so
when you got second married?
second marriage 20. Let's see, three, so 25 ish. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
So this was like a few years after your first marriage. So you
yeah.
were the first marriage. You were pretty much married all throughout college.
Most of it, though I was in college for a while. College and career kind of overlapped, so I started stopping school wherever I was and just going full time work. So
Mm-hmm.
I got into software self taught.
Okay.
I basically it became a challenge to go to school and pay money and spend time and receive knowledge that was outdated compared to what I was doing on my day to day
Mm-hmm.
9 to 5.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
motivation to graduate and to go to school, even though everywhere I moved for a job, I typically joined the local university, though it may have been short lived. So I
Mm-hmm.
ended up getting my degree in management, which was unrelated to software
Mm.
because I realized that going to school for software was a waste of time
Yeah.
because I was already doing it and I had years of experience. And
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm-hmm.
degree in management, I think, had to do with my understanding back then, not necessarily an appetite for leadership or anything, but that eventually my own thing, I would need to know how to run it in my own teams and so on and so forth. So got that degree, but didn't touch it for a while until at Ultimate. So yeah, so marriage number
Mm-hmm.
one, the traditional years of college, had I graduated college, let's say in 5 years,
Okay.
probably marriage number one eats up most of that.
Mm-hmm.
Marriage number two, about a year
Yeah.
ish. And then, marriage number three, 22. Well, no, we've been together 22, but marriage, 18 years of
Okay.
marriage. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So this is the one where, lessons are learned, maturity has happened, also kind of the right fit, right time of life, and a different approach, different, third time's
Mm.
a charm.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, what have you learned from like your first two marriages?
Jokingly, the
Mm-hmm.
5'2" rule. My two first wives were both 5'2" tall.
Yeah. How tall are
So
you?
6'1".
Okay.
So yeah. So now you have to be at least this tall to ride this way. Now, what I did learn, which things I would impart to my children. You don't know somebody until you live with them. So despite my traditional values, I was raised Christian. I think it's necessary to live with somebody to understand who they are. And I think in our modern society, we no longer have the gender roles that we used to have. I
Mm-hmm.
can't assume that because you're a young lady of this age that you're going to cook and clean and do this and do this and you know how to take care of a baby and blah, 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 blah. And you can't assume that because I'm a guy, I'm going to mow the lawn and I know how to do these things. So
Right.
there's more freedom on both sides, and it's more up to the couple to decide how they distribute the responsibilities and the roles that they play.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I think you're not going to figure that out unless you live with somebody. So I actually encourage cohabitation before marriage to get to know the person.
Mm.
Um, I deeply, deeply encourage communication. You need to over communicate. If you're going to be married with somebody, you need to get to know them, but you need to keep knowing them as they evolve. Life continues to happen. So I tell newlyweds, like, you need to be able to tell your significant other, I love you. Your breath smells like rotten cheese this morning. The dress you put on makes you look like a sack of potatoes, and you're the most inspirational person. Like, you need to be able to deliver the good, the bad, and the ugly
Mhm.
within the context of trust. You don't have to hurt people's feelings, but you need to be able to really, that's sharing of information. You know,
Yeah.
this is the most crucial collaboration you're having. This is your life. This is the
Mm.
person who shares your finances, who's going to see you potentially switch careers, who you're raising children with. This, so that's gotta, you have to find what works for you. And then, so besides getting to know the person by living with them, definitely leaning in on communication. Define your own culture.
Mhm.
When you're getting married, or you know you're hooking up, in my opinion, you are creating a new village. If there were a list of cultures in the world, your couple is a new culture, because you
Okay.
get to determine. We do pasta on Saturday nights. We tend to consume these types of music. We go with these colors in the house. Give yourself the complete freedom that aligns with both of your value systems, but to define who you are inside your home, inside your family, inside of your unit.
Mhm.
Don't let other people be telling you, oh, you shouldn't let your husband, blah, blah, blah. You shouldn't let your wife, blah, blah. That's their thing. They do their thing.
Mhm.
But give yourselves the full freedom to be with each other with the values that you have in collaboration. So if you have that common cultural background that you both like, you know, you can pick and choose the parts of it. If
Right.
you have that common value system, maybe common religious upbringing or something, that helps, because there's a lot of that you don't have to negotiate.
Mhm.
But definitely don't let other people be dictating.
Mhm.
So I think those three things are probably what I would say I want to convey to my children as far as advice for getting into relationships
Mhm.
based on things I've learned.
No, I absolutely agree with that. And how you put it as creating your own culture is so accurate. Like that's just like so like geniusly stated.
Ah,
Like how it
appreciate it.
sums up. Yeah, for sure. Cuz it's going to sound weird, but it can be a bit aggravating dating a guy who has like good parents um because or like a great father because like they kind of just want to copy that
Mhm,
person and it's
mhm,
like okay, that's great, but I'm not going to be your like your mom. I'm going to just be
mhm,
me.
mhm,
You
mhm,
know, it's like don't try to just recreate your parents.
mhm.
I'm not gonna do that. I can't.
I understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and
it's
that
like you
makes sense.
definitely have to like pick and choose certain things.
And that's where that conversation comes in. That's where the understanding. I read this book, The Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. I
Okay.
believe that's the book, right? And
Yeah.
he goes into relationship with his wife. And I think, and a part of the book, he's talking about when he lived in Hawaii with his wife, and they used to ride on these in these cane fields. But basically, he has this illustration about coming to understand why his wife favored a certain brand of appliances. And it used to annoy him that she would always go for this pricier brand,
Mhm.
until they had the conversation. And he found out that this brand was the only brand that offered her father credit that allowed him to have the business to support them when she was a child. So she
Mm.
had this brand loyalty out of family history, and it pivoted this annoyance he used to have of her loving this brand to admiring the fact
Right.
that
Yeah.
he loved this brand because he understood why
Yeah.
she loved it. And that type of exploration and understanding the value and the intent behind things is exactly your homework in a relationship.
Mhm.
Understanding why this person is trying to bring you this thing, and them understanding why you might resent the shape of this thing that they're bringing, and you guys, out of that mutual wanting the best for each other, coming to that, it's not effortless compromise, but coming to that mutually acceptable, okay, okay, I get it. You don't want all of this, but all of this is coming out of love. And, you got to talk. It's
Yeah.
those difficult conversations that
Yeah.
will take you to, and the more of them you have, the more you get rooted in the relationship, and the more you get confident in the relationship, because it could be the most heated argument, and in the back of your mind, like, this is not going to break us. We're passionate about this topic,
Hmm.
and but this topic, in our disagreement around this topic, is nowhere near the size of our relationship.
Yeah.
So we can go at it, no holds barred, like, and really let each other know how we feel. Because what are you going to do? Leave? So yeah, those are all opportunities, and it actually translates to relationships, even in the professional environment as well.
Hmm.
When you're collaborating with your team, for example, those little annoyances and the little things, and building up that trust, so that when your coworker presents something and it looks like, ass on a slide, and you go, hey man, did you know that this? They don't take it as an affront. It's more of, oh yeah, we're trying to make the team stronger, and the trust is built between us already. So there's a lot of those overlaps when it comes to
Yeah.
optimizing relationships.
Yeah, for sure. Why, like, something that you may see or view as like asinine or pointless could just mean
Mm-hmm.
something great, but if you're just constantly believing or telling yourself the story of like, it's like, oh, why does she always have to get the expensive appliances, or
Mm-hmm.
like, why do we always get this brand of dish soap or
Yeah,
something, like something small.
ask the question, have that conversation. It might be enlightening, or you might go, oh, my partner's an idiot. So she just likes the logo. Well,
Right.
damn. Whoa, this is like, 20% more expensive than everything because of the shape of the logo.
Right, yeah. Then you
You
have to
know,
have the conversation of like, "Hey,
there you
honey,
go.
will you
Yeah.
be open to trying other dish soap?"
What if we order the logo and put it on there?
Right, yeah. Let's see what
But yeah,
that's.
the conversations help us. I think fearlessly exploring each other. Hey, what do you think? Like, to me, couples who don't vote together, yeah, beautiful. You have your own beliefs. I have my own beliefs about politics and everything. But we are together. We're a household,
Mhm.
and yeah, our common stuff is bigger than whatever these other things we care
Okay. I never like thought about that. Like, I wouldn't date someone who didn't vote
about.
personally.
Really,
Yeah, no, I
you
wouldn't.
didn't vote the way you did?
No, no. I mean,
Yeah, yeah. That's the
depending.
question.
Yeah, like depending on like certain things. Like if you were, like for example, like this recent election, there was an amendment for the right to hunt and fish, and my boyfriend voted yes on it and I voted no,
Hmm.
because of like, I know that there's already like certain kind of limits and stuff for like hunting and fishing, but if the because the amendment passed, now there's like little or no limits on certain things, so it's like,
For like the conversation of the conservation of the species and stuff like that. You're talking about
yeah, I believe so. I
wildlife
think it was,
control.
yeah,
Okay.
it was like something like that. And so I was like, yeah, no, like I'm not saying you can't hunt and fish. It's just like,
You want some limits on
right, yeah, it's like don't make a species extinct or something like
it. Yeah.
that. Or like limit the food source in the ocean for other fish and things like that. Anyway,
Mhm.
so it's like, all right, like I wasn't insanely passionate about it, but it was still just kind of like, a bit of a disagreement. It's not like
Mhm.
we like seriously argued and talked about it for days or anything. It was just like, it's like, oh, okay, like I see where you're coming from. Like this is just where I'm coming from with it.
Yeah.
And I was just,
And that's dope. I think you should have those differences.
yeah.
You don't want to be with a carbon copy of yourself.
Hmm.
Yeah, oh my goodness, Melissa and I disagree over so many, because we would very rarely align. And so, yeah, we see things differently, and yeah, I think it's good.
Hmm. Alrighty, Lionel. We have come to the end.
Okay, well, that was fun. It was
Yeah.
way less scary than I anticipated.
Yeah. I like these questions. I feel like they definitely got some very like just deep answers from them. A little backstory. I had a list of questions that I've been using for like previous interviews, and when I sent it to Lionel, long story, he just didn't approve of the questions. Whatever. And so
I thought they could be better. I thought they could be.
yeah, yeah. So he created a group chat on WhatsApp of like his niece,
Yeah,
daughter,
two of my daughters.
two of your
Yeah,
daughters, your oldest daughters.
yeah, two of my daughters and my niece. Which my niece is kind of like my daughter. I'm her godfather. We have a beautiful, yeah, you know her.
Hmm.
So yeah, basically my people. And so,
Yeah,
and I didn't disapprove of the questions. I just thought, oh well,
they could be better.
they could be better.
Yeah, and you were
Well,
right. Like I put the questions through Chat GPT because I was honestly getting kind of tired of my questions, and I was
okay.
like, I know that they can be better. It's just like no one's giving me feedback otherwise. So, like, I asked for feedback, like, and yeah, so I was like, okay. So I was like, let me actually run them through Chat GPT and see what it says, and like how to
Yeah.
make it shorter and things like that. Like, it took away some questions that I liked, but I put them back.
Hmm.
But for the most part, I definitely like it.
I
Yeah.
like it. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it flows well. I enjoyed the conversation, and I like, of course, the intent behind your podcast, which
Mhm.
ties again to your passion about helping people who are more socially, nerds, right? More
Yeah.
socially marginalized, if you want to call it that, or less socially fluid, and showing them the hope. Because I think everybody you've interviewed has grown up kind of nerdy and made it through, and they have a
Yeah.
life and everything like that. And so the
Yeah.
message that you're trying to send, I actually watched some of your other episodes, and I started to kind of doubt my nerddom. Right? I was like,
Yeah, I
wait,
remember
am
you said
I
that.
nerdy enough?
Yeah.
Because like every one of your interviewees,
Yeah.
that's what I call them,
Yeah.
all your guests,
Yeah.
they would name off these characters and shows, and I was like, I never got to watch those shows. Like I was overseas, or I didn't. Uh, do I know? Is the nerd strong in me?
Yeah, no,
Do I qualify?
I wasn't gonna quiz you as a
Yeah, yeah.
nerdy woman. Like, ask any like nerdy woman like who was into anime and video games. Like, we would get quizzed on like dating apps by guys. It's like, oh, you like anime? What are your three favorite anime? And I just name
Like
just three
prove yourself.
whatever. Yeah, just name whatever three that comes to mind because I knew what the next thing was going to be, which was going to be nothing. They would just be like,
Mhm.
"Oh, so you're really into anime, huh?" I was like, "Yeah, why the hell would I be lying?" And it's like, or,
Because
or
you like to prey on nerds. You just want me to come over and fix your Wi-Fi router.
you got me.
Yeah, nerds have to protect themselves. They're no longer hopeless. Women now are up the game. They're like, hey, nerds in the future. You invest
Yeah,
early, you catch you a good one.
I mean, true, but like, I feel like we were always around. We were just like the boys. Like, we had to hide it. Yeah, because we were awkward and nerdy. So like, the boys weren't really checking for us. So
I don't know. I always felt like the girls had it easier. The girls, in my opinion, could be nerdy, but still would get the attention of boys. Because regardless that you didn't wear the latest fashions, you were a girl at a high school. And the advantage is like, so all in my opinion, girl nerds had fewer social restrictions than boy nerds. I don't know. Maybe it's
I
just
don't
because I
know.
was growing up within that,
Right.
because occasionally a girl nerd would leave the flock and become popular because hey, she's now hooked up with that. So I was like, oh, they can fly. We're just we're just stuck down here eating in the hallway. But look, she's among the popular people now, and or she blossomed over the summer, so now she's
Oh
getting
yeah.
attention.
So
Yeah,
she's yeah.
yeah,
Interesting. I like to. We could talk about that like another time
yeah.
because
We always
like
have fun conversations.
yeah, because like I think because I mean the high school I went to was like pretty mixed,
Mix
but
and white.
like in terms of like race,
Okay.
and but I was like in like honors and AP classes, so it was like always
That
predominantly white.
reduces, yes, I was also honors in AP classes, and that reduces the diversity you're going to get. At least
Right.
where I went. A lot of
Yeah.
times I would,
Yeah. Yeah, I hear so it's like maybe or maybe it was just like all in my head. I don't know. Like I know I definitely had like low self-esteem in high school, but yeah, we could talk about that another time cuz I do find it interesting cuz I
Yeah,
feel like there's like a like I don't know, like a disconnect of like it's like oh, when I how I grew up was like this, like as a nerdy person. So, but yeah.
I think it makes you who you are today. I
For
think
sure, yeah. For
you're
sure.
inclusive, like
Mhm.
working where you work. You're gonna come across interns. You're gonna kind of identify people, and you're gonna end up pulling them out of the shell. You
Mhm.
know, the way you get along with the interns and the way you get along at the recruiting events. You've been these people. Like in a sense,
Oh
you've been
yeah.
in their shoes, and
Yeah.
maybe you couldn't do it as well had you been the captain of your volleyball team and the da da da, and you had that star-studded youth.
Mhm.
Maybe you couldn't understand and sniff out and see this person needs a little bit more pulling
Right.
out. A little bit.
Yeah.
So you're rocking it proudly, ex nerd,
Yeah.
very socially fluid ex nerd. I'll
I
give you
mean,
that.
I guess I'm still like a nerd. I don't know. Like,
Hosting parties and stuff. I don't know. I don't know.
yeah, he could be just an extroverted nerd.
We'll have to ask ChatGPT if that's possible.
That's possible.
Is there such a thing? The mythical extroverted nerd. Does that exist?
Alrighty,
So,
Lionel.
thank you for the time.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thank
it.
you. Yeah, for
Thank you for
sure.
making it comfortable.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much.
All right.
All right.
Talk to you later.